Just not while I'm recording. All right, so the first step is to write down the first two equations. And for me, that's easy because I'm just going to copy and paste it. I also think it's important to write it down like to the side of it. Did it show up? It's not showing up. Oh, I'm going to have to reset the iPad. Hold on. So I think it's important that you take the first two and copy it down sort of to the left so you have room to work. And then take the second two and copy it down to the right, but you can't see that. Say that all over again because I wasn't recording. I'm going to take the second and the third equation and copy that down to the side. You'll see it in a minute once I resync the iPad. Copy. I don't need to record. So first I would take the first two and then write it here, and then the second two and write it here. I write them side by side because when I'm done with both of them, I'll have equations that, again, I'm going to put together. So it'll look kind of like going down here, and then I'll take my two new equations and write them back in the middle. So it's kind of like following almost a template. So next is to choose a variable to eliminate. And what I do is I look at both of these sets of equations. I look at this one, and I choose which is easiest for both. For me, I would say if I chose the x's, I'd have to multiply by two numbers. Same with this, okay? If I chose the y's, I multiply one number in that case, two numbers here. All right, that's a little bit easier than eliminating x's. And then I would have to multiply by two numbers here and two numbers here. So the easiest, I think, would be to eliminate the y's. Because in one of the sets of equations, which is the first one, I only have to multiply by a single number. And that number is the top by, looks like -2. Remember, I want the same coefficient, but opposite signs. I have the same signs right now, so I made it negative. Then it will become the opposite signs. So I'll distribute that. And then to all four pieces, so then I'll get positive 4x minus 2y minus 12z equals -2. So I distribute for that blue equation, and then I recopied the red, and now I'm going to add both of these together. And then my new equation is going to be in black. Hopefully, things cancel out. So the 4x and the 3x make a 7x. This cancels, and I get -7z equals 16, 15, 14. Positive 14. And I'm going to move all of this stuff because it's getting in the way. And then I'll go to the second set of equations. So the first step, step 1, copy down the first two to the left. Step 2, copy down the second and the third to the right. And then step 3 is to eliminate a variable of your choice from the first set. Step 4 is to eliminate the same variable from the second set. So over here, since I eliminated y in the other ones, I have to eliminate x. Sorry, a y again. So what would I have to do? These are the same signs right now, the positive and the positive. So one of these numbers on the side has to be a negative so that it changes to an opposite sign. The common denominator between 2 and 3 is 6. So how do I change the 2 into a 6? I multiply by 3. I'll make the top one negative just for fun. It doesn't matter which one you make negative, but I'm just choosing the top. And then multiply the second equation by 2. So I'll distribute in the top, and I'll get -9x minus 6y minus 15z equals, I can't do that, it's 30 plus 18, 48, -48. Is that right? Yeah, cool. And then distribute in the bottom to all four pieces, and I get 14x plus 6y, now they're opposites, minus 8z equals positive 22. And I do the same thing. I add these together. So 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, x, no more y, And then these are both negative, so I add them together and keep the negative sign. If I'm adding or subtracting, that's how I do that with positive and negative numbers. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, so 223. So it's minus 23z equals 876, 432, negative 26. So that was step 4. Step 5 is to take these two black equations and write them one on top of the other. It doesn't matter which one comes first. And then you're going to try to eliminate one of the variables. So I'll take these and copy them. The fact that I get to copy and paste these makes it so that I don't mess up any sign errors. Like, I know it's exactly the same as before. What you guys have to do is just be careful, unless you also are working on something like this, but I don't think you are. So I take these, and I write them there, and now I just choose a variable to eliminate. This is the longest step. This is step 5 to solve this system. I would choose to eliminate the x's, because if I try to eliminate the z's, I would have to multiply by a 23, and that just will make everything really, really large. I feel like the numbers are going to get a little bit big anyway, but it's not too bad. Like it won't matter that much. And I have to make one of the numbers that I'm multiplying, one of these numbers, I have to make negative, because the signs for the x's, they're both positive right now. I want them the same number, opposite signs. So then I'll multiply this one by a negative 5. Again, I'll just choose the first one to be negative. And then the bottom one by a positive 7. That'll give me the common denominator of 35. And I'll distribute it all the way through. I'll write them again in black. This will be negative 35x plus 35z equals 50 plus 20 is 70, negative 70. And then I'll distribute in the bottom as well. That would be positive 35x, they're opposites. 7 times 23, that's 140 plus 21, 161. Negative 161z. And then 7 times 26, that would be 140 plus 42, 182. Negative 182, yeah? Cool. And then now I can add these together. My goal is to eliminate one of the variables, and I eliminated the x's by making them the same number, opposite signs. And then negative 161, I'm definitely going to do this in my calculator, because I don't want to, well, no I won't. 11 minus 5 is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Negative 126z equals, these are both negative, and so they add together. That would be 2, 8, that's 15, negative 252. The numbers are a little bit big, but once I solve for z, it'll get smaller, and then the rest of it will be smaller. So I'll divide by negative 126, negative 126, and z equals positive, is that 2? Yeah. Positive 2? Is that right? Cool. Here's what people get confused on. They think that they have to take the z and plug it into one of the original equations. But you don't have enough to go back to the original equations. You only have enough to go back to these two equations. And I'm just going to choose the top one because it has smaller numbers. Because if I plug in the z there, then I get, I'll make the z blue. If I plug in z there, I can find x. Once I find x, I'll also have z. Then I can go back to the original 3. So this, I'm going to plug in up there, and I get 7 times x minus 7 times 2, and it's a positive 2, equals 14. Then I'll just solve this equation. So what will this be? 7x minus 14 equals 14. A lot of people, like, without showing the work, they go, oh, these cancel out, and it equals 0. That's not true. If you show the work, you'll see that it equals 28. So then 7x equals 28 divided by 7. X equals 4. So now I have z and x. Now I can go back to the original equation. So now, finally, go back to the very top. Z is 2, x is 4. I would choose to plug it into, yeah, the first one. I'm solving for y. This has no coefficient, so I won't have to divide anything. So that's the easiest to use. So I'll have negative 2 times, x was 4, right? Yeah. Negative 2 times 4 plus y plus 6 times z was 2 equals 1. And then I'll just solve for y. This would be negative 8 plus y plus 12 equals 1. A problem that I saw yesterday was someone went, oh, look, plus 8 plus 8. We only do that when we want to move something over to the other side of the equation. Right now, this is actually adding 16 to the left side and nothing to the right side. So the equation's unbalanced, it becomes untrue. So you can't do that. If they're on the same side, you don't change the sign, you just combine like terms. So that'll be y plus 4 equals 1. Subtract 4 from both sides. Y equals negative 3. And then we have x being, I think it was 4, 2, and negative 3. Is that right? 4. Oh, yeah. Switch these around. Thank you. So negative 3 and 2. There we go. That's the point in 3D space where these planes intersect.